Hi, my name's Andy Sykes. I'm an award-winning animator and illustrator based in the UK. Welcome to my lessons on Flash CS5. This is my website, hexjibber.com. You can check out my animation, my illustration, my interactive work, and also more of my video tutorials in Flash. Enjoy! Hi there. So in my last lesson I showed you a very basic walk cycle that I'd copied from the Animator survival kit. In this lesson I'll show you how to match your armature up to that guide layer. If you've done my lesson on creating a bone structure using symbols, then you should have a model very similar to this. Although you'll notice that I've made some simple changes. I've changed the head into a symbol that's looking to the side, just to make this walk cycle look a bit better. And I've used green coloured symbols for the front limbs to distinguish them from the ones behind. This is just so that we don't get our arms and legs mixed up. You'll also notice that with my armature I've moved my back arm behind the rest of my symbols by selecting them and arranging them, sending them to the back. I've also used the selection tool to move my bones into the right place. That edits your actual bone structure, so all you have to do is click on the different bits using the black selection tool and move them around. So that's how I've got a slightly shorter bone here attached to the back arm and a slightly longer one attached to my front arm, which I've also selected and arranged bring to front. And I've done the same with my legs. So let's get started. You can see that our contact position is already mirrored by our armature. We've got our armature in our armature 2 layer and our Animate Survival Kit guide in our guide layer. You can see because I've made that into a guide, it's already ticked. That means it won't show up in our final animation. Okay, so let's go to our second pose, which is at frame 4. It's labeled down. One function that might be really useful is if I go up here to my armature layer, I can click outline mode, and you can see that my armature is now see-through, which makes it a bit easier to edit whilst also looking at our guide. So let's click on the arms and get started and move them into position. There we go. Now our front leg, let's just check that we're getting the right one. Our green leg wants to be bent forwards, so I've got the wrong leg there. There we go. Like that. And you'll notice that our foot isn't touching the ground. Now that's a problem. But you can see that our head is quite a way above the head in our guide. So we really need to move our whole body down so that our head is in the same place. And you can see that now that I've done that, my foot's a lot closer to the floor, so I can just edit that into place. I can move this back leg back like that. Okay, so that's that pose done. Let's move on to our next one. It's our passing position, and you can see that our head has jumped up, so we need to move our model up as well. You can move the whole model at once if you hit Command A on the Mac or Control A on the PC. That's select all, and you can just move it up like that. Now let's check where our limbs are supposed to be. Sometimes you do just need to hide the layer to see what's underneath. Our front leg is straight down, so that's our green leg, and our back leg is bent forwards like that. Let's see what our front arm's doing. It's sort of bent forward, isn't it? Let's grab that. There we go. And we want this arm down like that. Let's move to our next position, up. You can see that we need to select all and move our head up a bit to match the one in our guide. And let's have a look where our legs are. Our front leg is pushing back like that, so it needs to be a little bit bent. There we go. And our back leg, that's up like that with the toe pointing down. Our front arm is pushed forwards like that. And our back arm, let's have a look, it's pointing back like that. There we go. Let's move to our next position, contact. So we need to move our model back down again. And let's have a look at our legs. We've got our front leg pushed all the way to the back there, it's bent down, and our back leg is stretched out to the front with the foot up like that. Let's have a look at our arms. Got our back arm. Oops, that's my front arm. Our back arm pointing out backwards like that. Our front arm is out forwards. You'll see that our front arm is matching our back leg, and our front leg is matching our back arm. Okay, next position is down, so I need to select all and push my model down like that. I'm going to move my front leg into position. Like so. And move my back leg into position as well. There we go. Swing our back arm up. Swing our back arm up like this, and our front arm needs to come up like that. Let's check out our next position, which is our second passing position. Our head needs to go up quite a lot. And let's have a look at our guide. You can see that our back leg is straight down, so let's sort that out. There we go. Our front leg is pushing forwards, like so. Our front arm is down by our side, like that. And our back arm is pointing pretty much straight down, like the back leg. Remember, the passing position is the only position in which your back arm and back leg will be in a similar position, because the limbs have to pass each other at some point. Let's move to our next position, up. So we need to move our armature up to match our guide. And our back leg is pushing off the ground like that, although it's a little bit bent. And our front leg is bent forwards, like that. And let's take a look at our arms. Front arm needs moving back. Our back arm needs to be moved forwards and bent a little bit, like that. Okay, and our last position is exactly the same as our first position. You can see our first frame is exactly the same as our last. That's necessary for a walk cycle because it has to loop. So instead of recreating this position again in our armature layer, we can go to our first frame, hold down Command on the Mac or Control on the PC, right click and copy that pose. Then we can Command click or Control click on our last frame and paste that pose in. So that saves us a bit of work. So let's have a look at our walk cycle. So there we go. We've got a very simple walk cycle using symbols and bones. You can embed this pose layer into a graphic symbol and have it loop as you tween it across the screen. Have a go yourself, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Hi, if you enjoyed this lesson, why not consider checking out the hexjibber colouring and activity book on my website, hexjibber.com. It's suitable for kids and adults alike, and you can get it from Amazon, Play.com and WH Smith's. Cheers.